What's up guys? So I'm back here with another video this week, and by the thumbnail of this video and probably also the title, you can probably tell that I'm not talking about marketing. And yeah, so I've been hearing a lot of conversations and topics about how to really figure out what you want to do in life. And you know, I'm not one to say that I figured it all out, but I can say that for me, I'm definitely in a much better spot than I was like 5 years ago. So basically, I just want to take some time to kind of go through this video and kind of like explain like how I went about choosing what I wanted to do, and hopefully someone out there can kind of relate, or maybe this can be helpful to someone who's kind of just trying to figure out what they want to do in life, what they want to study in university. Okay, so I gotta be honest, for me, when I first, as young as I could remember, the first thing I ever wanted to do was be a toy maker. And it's pretty funny because my mom actually had a little shop in a flea market, and she primarily sold clothes, and she would also sell these things called Beyblades. And if you guys don't know what those are, these are spinning tops that you see here and here, and they're pretty fun as a kid. And so for me, my mom, she didn't really actually have a lot of time to sell these toys. For me, I really liked playing with it, and I would do a lot of demos as a kid right by her flea market booth. Kids with their parents would just walk by, and I actually ended up selling a few because I was playing with kids who actually convinced their parents to buy something like that. And so it's pretty funny how that worked out, because that was like my first initial touch point of like what kind of career I wanted to go into. I really like toys, so I really wanted to find a way to make toys. So I had that idea of being a toy maker for about like 2 years maybe, and then like I kind of forgot about what I wanted to do in life again, which is no surprise. So from then on as a kid, right when I was maybe in grade 8 or grade 7, I started to see and kind of get exposure to after school programs. So whether I was a volunteer or whether I was a participant in elementary school, I just thought it was really cool how volunteer programs in the community like really benefit all of the kids. For me, I really did like going to after school programs as a kid. And so when I went into high school, I actually volunteered a lot, kind of just teaching kids, volunteering with kids, and just being around and interacting with them. And so that actually led me to be inspired to be like a pediatrician. So I wanted to study sciences, but then I realized that my chemistry dreams kind of ruined that. I was terrible at chemistry, and naturally, because of opportunities that came up in high school, I pursued business. And so as I was progressing in high school and going into university, I always wanted to do business at that point because of the opportunities, exposure, and I also had a family relative that really had a big influence on me at the time. And so for me, I really wanted to impress them, make them proud, and also make my parents proud as well. And so for the longest time from high school up until university, I really wanted to study accounting. And I can say that it's probably because I had such a big influence in peers and also my family members and past teachers as well, who just told me that accounting was a good option for me, basically for my situation at the time. However, for me, when I was going through university, I actually realized that accounting was not fitted for my personality and kind of like my end goals in life. And so I ended up switching into marketing, which is the area that I'm in now and that I work and I fully do commit to. And so I really do enjoy the work that I do now. I'm to say that all my experiences have kind of been all over the place. I went from, again, being a toy maker with a dream as a kid to a pediatrician in most of my high school life, then into business, into later of high school, and then university. And so I've been working in marketing for about 4 years now, and I recently, just last year, I started this YouTube channel and doing a lot of side hustling as well. So I can say that I'm definitely in a spot that I'm super happy to be in. And you guys might not believe me, but leading up to every point in my life today, there were so many opportunities that I saw marketing come into my life that I just didn't even realize it. And I just wanted to suppress most of it because I had the goal of being a doctor or an accountant or a toy maker. A lot of the opportunities that I've taken on have really helped me decide and really find out that marketing was an area that I wanted to work in. And so basically from like elementary school to high school, I played this video game called MapleStory, and I used to make a lot of these things called MapleStory music videos. And I used to also make promotional videos for MapleStory characters and other game servers. And so I had a really early exposure to video editing. Like I would basically teach myself how to use Sony Vegas. I would teach myself how to use Windows Movie Maker. and all the effects, and then I would upload to YouTube and all this other stuff. And I was doing that stuff back basically in grade 8 or grade 7. And as a kid, like I didn't even realize the impact that that had on other people. It was something that I just did as a hobby, and it's something that I just thought was fun. Because, you know, when you're a kid, you do things without really thinking about it. And so I would say that was probably one of the most early exposures that I've had to kind of like figuring out that marketing was something that I wanted to do. And I think that really adds to the point that in order for you to really figure out what you want to do, you ultimately gotta do a lot of stuff. And I know that sounds pretty simple, but honestly guys, like the more that you do, the more that you volunteer, the more that you get involved, the more that you'll realize that there's so much things out there that you just didn't know before. And you know, you don't always have to do that thing, but the fact that you did that thing to begin with makes you realize that this is an option for you, and you don't have to pick that. Like for example, like for me, I really enjoyed doing after-school programs and volunteering with kids. And I also like playing video games and editing videos on the side. And I know these are just two small things, but of course it gives me a broader sense than just knowing nothing. Like if I was just to, you know, go home, do homework and not really get involved, not do things for fun, then I wouldn't know those things are out there. So really being able to do more things while you can and yet you have the time with is definitely recommended to really figure out what you want to do. And so basically from a young age, when I was uploading all those videos onto YouTube for that game I was super obsessed with, I found an interest in kind of like the video aspect on YouTube. And so I started to kind of like upload stuff, and I saw a lot of tutorials on like Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, and I started to do all that stuff as well and learn the tools basically from scratch from just purely just watching YouTube videos. And so I would just do a bunch of that stuff for fun on Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, and do all that fun stuff on the side while I really had my intentions of becoming a doctor or even an accountant in kind of like my schoolwork. And I guess this just kind of builds onto my point that in order to figure out what you want to do, you need to build on that skill over and over and over again. And so while my goal was to become a doctor or an accountant at the time, I was super involved later in my later years in like the school newspaper or even in the yearbook, and I did a lot of design and marketing and stuff for those different organizations and kind of groups I was involved with. So basically from a young age all the way up until then, I've always been kind of like using the same marketing skills over and over and over again, and even till the end of university when I decided to major in marketing. Sorry guys, my camera just died because I've been babbling on for such a long time. Anyways, so basically at that point I was like in my 4th year university, and I really didn't have a switch, but I think it was kind of like I realized that post-university I really wanted to be in an area that I could see myself in, and I've been sticking to it since then, and I've been pretty much enjoying it so far. Figuring out what in the world you want to do is not an overnight thing. You cannot just be like, oh okay, so I'm gonna do this the next day because, you know, A plus B equals C. The reason why people switch into different careers, into different things, is because of the exposure they have to new things. So basically what I really want to preach here is that A, you gotta expose yourself and do as many things in the world, whether that's picking up new hobbies, meeting new people, doing crazy things, traveling, doing any of these things really, to figure out what you do like and what you don't like. Once you figure out all these things, figure out then what you want to put your most time into because you really do enjoy it. So for me, I can honestly say that all this creative work that I did as a kid was purely just because it was a hobby. It was a cool way for me to make new friends and to meet new people. I think it's pretty funny because for me at least, you know, when I mentioned making YouTube videos as a kid, I haven't been really consistent on YouTube because I've always made different accounts for different people and I made different kind of videos, and so I never had one kind of platform that I had to really put all my ideas into that I can share with other people, or making videos for different accounts that I was always kind of just making new accounts on the fly. So I just felt like there was no consistency there, and I think that's kind of why I wanted to start this video and this channel. Anyway, so I'm probably gonna cut it there. I don't want this video to be super long because I know that I talked a lot about my life and my decisions. So I really hope this video was helpful to somebody. I know that for anybody who's going through life, obviously like during these times, figuring out what you want to do might not be the easiest thing, but I do encourage for you, anybody who's watching this video, to really figure out, I guess, like what you don't know. And once you figure out what you don't know, then you'll have a good sense of what you do know and what you will like. Let's leave it at that. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.